listening to the Bourbon Nerdz podcast, Season 2, Episode 2. John Jacob Bowman-heimer Smith. His name is my name too. Welcome back, everybody. We got another exciting episode. We're already second episode in Season 2.
Whoop, whoop.
How you doing, folks?
How you doing, Cody?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Joey over here from Friends.
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty darn good because we have some great friends and great people in the whiskey community. And I've got a lot to talk about today. And we've got two spicy meatballs sitting in front of us that I think are taking the whiskey community by storm if they're able to find one, because they're very hard to find if you're not in Virginia. Hint, hint.
Yep.
But anyway, so I'm going to kind of give a recap today. We're actually going to be talking about John J. Bowman, if you didn't pick that up from our fancy title.
John J. Bowman, Bowman Smith.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the history. We've got two spicy bottles we'll talk about here that we're going to drink while we're talking with you guys, give you our tasting notes. Nerd Rage, we're going to talk a little bit about the Whiskey Riot event that was in Dallas, Texas. Whiskey Sideline, we're going to talk a little bit about the NCAA tournament. Hope your bracket's still surviving, because mine's struggling a little bit. Ovechkin getting ever so close to breaking the all-time Wayne Gretzky's scoring record. And then we might talk a little bit about Formula One. Pop Culture Pour, we'll talk a little bit about the Twister movies and Daredevil potentially. Just dabble a little bit in that because I haven't been able to watch that. Neat and Balanced, I'm going to give you some advice to spring forward, hint into the summer, on things you should be doing that are very simple. And then last call, we'll close it out and give you guys some good updates. So
great updates coming up.
The best updates.
The best of the best.
They're going to be huge.
All right, so what Bowman do you have there in front of you?
So I have the John J. Bowman single barrel, which I remember for the longest, it took me a long time to source this bottle. And it was only a few months ago that I've actually first had it. And I saw it when I was in Vegas, but I knew you had one, and I was working to trade to get one. So it was a little pricey, and I had a small bag. It was full from, we were doing the Auto Finance Summit there in Vegas, which is an awesome event. But it's 100 proof, 50% alcohol by volume. It ranges anywhere from $57 to $65, depending on your market. I think in Vegas it was closer to 70 range. Again, it's been known to be aged around 10 years. So, it's a very, very good bottle. And hint, if you like Buffalo Trace, you're going to like this bottle. Yeah.
The theory is that is Blanton's, like the high rye version of Buffalo Trace. I don't think all their Bowman stuff are, but I think the single barrel could be. Yeah.
So I think it's better than Blanton's.
I don't think there's a doubt in my mind that it's better than Blanton's.
Yeah. So for all you Blanton's lovers out there, guys that like to fight small children to get your Blanton's bottles,
I will say I'd like to side by side this with like the Rock Hill Farms and the Elmer T. Lee and thing. Mm-hmm. You know, the things that should be in the same mash bill.
Do you have an Elmer T. Lee?
I don't. No.
Okay.
I had it for like 10 minutes. And
you traded it. Okay. Like you
I do have a Rock Hill Farms though.
Yeah, you have I have an Elmer T. Lee. Maybe we'll just pop that thing and.
Maybe we do a side by side of all of them and see.
I don't mind popping my Elmer T. Lee. That's kind of a special bottle. You know, I got that from a liquor store that used to be open in Denison. Rest in peace.
That was man, I can't remember what it's called.
We're so bad remembering. It was like the liquor store down in downtown, down from Chick-fil-A.
No, I know what you're talking about. I just can't think of what it's called.
Yeah. It'll come to me. Reggie's Liquor?
Reggie's. No, it wasn't Reggie's.
No, Reggie's Liquor is the place in Sherman that is super expensive on everything.
I feel bad because that guy was really cool.
Yeah, he was really cool. We hung out.
I had matches up for it in my car somewhere, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll think of it. Sorry, we can't even remember stuff when we're talking on the podcast. These guys are terrible. They have the worst memory ever.
We also have an A. Smith Bowman, which isn't exactly Buffalo Trace distillate, but it's like Buffalo Trace makes their distillate at Buffalo Trace and sends it to them. So is it Buffalo Trace? I mean, technically it should be, but
it is.
This A. Smith Bowman's really good stuff though.
Yeah. And we'll talk more about that. So what proof and price point are we dealing with that? Because I know you had to get that off of like a point system.
I did get it off point system. It's 9 years. Damn, it's 135 proof. I didn't realize it was that high.
That's a spicy meatball. It didn't taste like that at all.
I will say the first 2 batches, I think, were over 140, and those were on lottery only, like exclusives. So you could only get those if you participated in their lottery system. But I think the batch 3, which is this one, was the first one that kind of was like widely available. I believe the new batch 4 is like 136, 138.
Good
so
Lord.
it's
That's
up there. So
George C. Stagg proof over there.
but I mean, yeah, it's like if this is like similar to Buffalo Trace distillate, it should be up there with like the B-Tax kind of thing. But I mean, getting it for 1,200 points, I feel like was pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's a great value. This is one of the hottest bottles on the market right now, outside of the Jack Daniel's 14 year. I think it's one of the best pours. It's going to probably be in our top 5 best pours of the year as of right now.
Pretty easily right now.
It's an outstanding bottle. There's no comparison between these two, and the single barrel is a phenomenal bottle too as well. But you're talking about a all-time great versus a good bottle. So that's just a difference. And we can talk a little bit more about that. The little bit of, do you want to kind of dive in from barrel to brain? We'll talk a little bit about some of the history.
Yeah, from barrel to brain, we'll talk about Bowman a little bit. So A. Smith Bowman Distillery, it's apparently the oldest and most award-winning distillery in Virginia. It produces bourbon and other spirits, including Virginia Gentleman Bourbon, Deep Run Vodka, and Sunset Hills Gin, which I know a lot of distilleries will do gin or vodka because it's kind of a way to make money.
Got to pay the bills.
Yeah, for
Keep
sure.
the lights on, Craig.
Because bourbon takes a lot longer than like gin or vodka. And has a rich history rooted in the Bowman family's pioneering spirit. So the distillery traces its roots back to the Bowman family with ties to Virginia, Louisiana, and Kentucky. Captain Eisen Bowman, a soldier and militia officer in the American Revolutionary War, settled at the Fort Bowman estate in Northern Virginia. Abram Smith Bowman and his sons continued the famous tradition of distilling spirits after the repeal of Prohibition in 1934, establishing a modern distillery called Sunset Hills Farm. A. Smith Bowman Distillery is known for its award-winning bourbons, including World's Best Bourbon multiple times. The distillery produces a variety of handcrafted spirits, including bourbons, rum, gin, and vodka.
There's a lot of quite a bit of history, and I knew they moved their distillery to Fredericksburg, which I think you had mentioned earlier. But again, if you don't live in Virginia, I never see these bottles. I had to trade for mine, and I know, like we had talked about earlier, you got yours off the point system at Apollo. Thank you again, Manny.
The A. Smith Bowman for sure.
Yeah.
But the Bowman Brothers and the Isaac Bowman, which is I think the port finish, I think we see those quite a bit.
Yeah, the port finish. Yeah, I can see those all the time. Yeah, I agree with those two. We should probably pick up the port finish. I didn't realize it won a Best Bourbon Whiskey Award, so I wouldn't mind trying that for sure. Unfortunately, we don't have it for you guys today to share. I did want to talk a little bit about the single barrel tasting notes that I get. Definitely a Buffalo Trace nose. Like you get a little bit of fruit. I get a tiny bit of vanilla.
Which there's a rumor that it is the Blanton's distillate, which is the high rye mash bill of Buffalo Trace.
Yeah, again, palate's a little fruity. It's very light on the single barrel, and I get a little oak note. It's again very.
It has
Buffalo
a Buffalo Trace taste to it.
Yeah, it does for sure. Finish is pretty mild, nothing too crazy. A little bit of oak, a little bit of fruit on the end. Get a little fruity at the tip of your tongue, but it's not good to drink these side by side. To be fair.
Well, these two specifically, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, if you're going to do like the John J. Bowman, I think you should do it next to like Blanton's and Rockhill Farms and Elmer T. Lee, whereas the A. Smith Bowman, I think you should do it next to like, I don't know, something high proof like
it's
Stag
like Mike Tyson against Oscar De La Hoya. That would be a no contest, both of them in their prime. Like
would it be though?
Mike Tyson,
Oscar
De La Hoya is one of the greatest boxers of all time, but he's like Mike Tyson's like 40 pounds, 50 pounds larger than him. Like you wouldn't put a heavyweight like that against a small welterweight, and because they're both really good bottles. Like, and you and I both agree this single barrel is better than a Blanton's.
Well, yeah. So I would put the John J. Bowman single barrel with like Blanton's, Rocky Farms, and Lee. Like that's where I'd compare that. A. Smith Bowman I would put with like Stag or things like that. So it's not a fair comparison, but they are both very good bottles in their own way.
Yeah, and I've had some Blanton's. Like I have a Blanton's. I need to let you try it. That has like a bubblegum note. Kind of remember we get the bubblegum barrel from Ho Chi Town.
Ho Chi Town, yeah.
Yeah, which I love that. I can't. We're going to have to pop that bottle eventually sometime and for a special occasion. But such a good bottle. But like straight from the barrel, like I think straight from the barrel is a lot better than this. Like the single barrel.
I mean, that's the best Blanton's.
Yeah,
debatably.
it's not even close.
Straight from the barrel.
Yeah. Cinnamon apples.
Yeah.
Punch you in the mouth.
I've been having the Blanton's Gold Specs pick from last year, and I just haven't been that impressed with it. I don't know.
The last time we were at the river, when Matt came up, I love that bottle. I thought it was excellent.
The one from 2023 was pretty good.
Oh yeah, the one I haven't had the 2024 one.
I'll bring that to the river this time, but it's just not super impressive to me. I don't know.
The 2023 one was fire.
Yeah, that one was really good. I like the one that Matt has, but the one I have, I'm just like, man, I wish I would have traded that.
All right, well, that's good to know because I'll trade.
Fun fact, I had that one last night, and I was really disappointed in it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not a comparison. When we say great bottles, this A. Smith Bowman is a great bottle. Like it's one of the best I've had this year.
Yeah, I said it was probably in my top 3 to 5 favorite whiskeys I've ever had all time. I mean, you can't really compare this to other things. You just have to put it kind of in a blind with other like BTAC level bottles or, that like year end list. So this isn't really fair. It's more of a just like, hey, we're focusing on the Bowman stuff.
It's kind of like when you let me try your cellar aged and I fell in love with it. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I got to go get a cellar aged, which I have one now. Thank God. Thank you, Jamie Summit, for helping me out with that. I have to get a bottle of A. Smith Bowman. That has to be in my collection. Like I do not want to not have it.
I'd never planned on getting one, and I walked into Apollo and they had it for 1,200 points, and I was like, well, I have like 1,600 points, so why not?
Yeah, and I've seen those. What is the MSRP? Do you know the MSRP on that? I know they're going for 250, 300 on secondary all day, 350 some. I
think I got it at Apollo for 109.
109. Okay.
And
that makes sense.
I assume 100 to 109 is kind of
about the standard.
Yeah. I think
yeah. I mean, it's worth every penny of that. Like it's easily worth $200 bottle. Like I'd pay $200 for that bottle and be happy.
Like, for sure. I would agree.
And I'm not exaggerating at all. It just is a really good bottle. So I'm trying to like describe to you because like it's like, oh, we're over here like gushing over how much we love this bottle, but when I drink it, it's just super good. Like you get like a little bit of Buffalo Trace oak, a little sweet oak, and then it's just like a good finish. It just hugs you. It's like put me to bed, swaddle me, and say goodnight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I get that. It's kind of tough because you don't want to compare it to like the good Buffalo Trace stuff, but it does kind of have those flavor profiles for sure.
But I mean, some stags are kind of have a
earthy note,
or ethanol, a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love stag. Don't get me wrong. That's my bread and butter. Like if I can ever get a stag, I'll get it in a heartbeat if it's a reasonable price. I'm not paying secondary bull crap anymore for that, but. We always try
the tier systems that are going on.
No,
for sure.
You can go to Lucky's, right?
Yeah, Lucky's
in Little Elm, and they do a tier system. Spend $100, get a stag for $100. Like, okay, sign me up, right? So, great liquor store. I hope to do more collabs and stuff with them. So, give them a good shout out as well. So, I love the tier system. I think that's my favorite system out of all of them. I will say Apollo and Bethany and all them are doing some really good bundles. Like the bundles they're coming out with are actually really good.
Yeah, the one at Apollo with the High West and the Straight Rye, I felt like that was pretty good.
I agree.
It's like you get a pick of the High West plus the Straight Rye.
A great Straight Rye, which is trailer, yummy.
I mean, that seems like a good bundle. Because some places will put bundles like of stuff they're not selling. They're like, hey, you want a Blanton's, will get you freaking I don't know. I can't even think of something that's like non-desirable, but It's kind of what some places will do for sure.
Yeah, and I apologize if I didn't catch it. There's been a lot going on today. But back to John J. Bowman and some of the history. In 1927, they purchased 7,200 acres of Sunset Hill Farm in Fairfax County, which is kind of where all their history kind of dates back to and starts. In 1934, A. Smith Bowman built a distillery, focusing on his farm and family-owned business. Their first release was called Virginia Gentleman, and that was the name of it until the 1950s. So, and then just a little bit of like facts and research that I've done from people that have visited the distillery, and I've seen it from a couple of sources. So I didn't just take one thing off the internet and be like, oh yeah, that's gospel. Is that apparently the distillate is distilled twice at Buffalo Trace, and then a third time at John J. Bowman or their distillery in Fredericksburg. So
I think some of the distillate is what they want. It's not specifically like Buffalo Trace, but it's kind of the mash bill that they like, and they send it to them. So the Bowman brothers make good stuff, but at the same time, I mean, they're getting it from Buffalo Trace. Like, it is what it is, and that's what a lot of places do these days. But if they're doing, I guess, different mash bills, it's kind of different. But at the same time, it's like it's
still Buffalo Trace juice.
Yeah, I just wish more places were doing their own stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll highlight those a lot this season. So
yeah, and the stuff is really good, and that's why you bring it up is because the John J. Bowman, specifically single barrel, is better than Blanton's to me personally. And I actually, side by side with that and the Rock Hill Farms, I have enjoyed the Bowman a little more. So
okay, well, I haven't had Rock Hill Farms yet, so which I have a bottle.
You haven't tried Rock Hill Farms at all?
I don't think. Have you? I don't think you gave me a sample of that, or let me.
Well, shoot.
Did I try it? No. Did I try it at your house that one night? I came over.
Probably.
Yeah, I probably did. I don't know.
There's
it was
a lot
not
of
memorable. I remember that.
I think it's fine. And
Four Roses limited edition.
Yeah, I think it's better. I think it's because the single barrels are. It just kind of depends on what you get because my Rock Hill Farms has been fine, but a lot of people are like, oh, that's my favorite of that kind of distillate. I'm like, it's been okay.
Yeah. But I've been impressed with these two offerings. I'd like to try their port finished and a couple of other offerings that they have. So again, we wanted to highlight them. I thought it would be a good, especially how excited we've been with the A. Smith Bowman and how, as of right now, it's going to go in. We're going to save a sample to go into our blind at the end of the year. We're going to do our blind a little bit different. Last year, we kind of started and caught up late and.
I mean, I don't foresee me drinking this bottle before the end of the year.
No,
so
I mean, I don't know.
Definitely going to save some.
For sure. But I think as of right now, it's going to be in contention for our top 5 best of the year. So, which I'm excited about.
It will be up there for sure.
Hopefully, Jack Daniels, if you're listening, we can get a Jack Daniels 14 and we can get to give you our Bourbon Nerdz perspective. So
Randall actually picked the 10-year over the 12 and 14 from this year, so
really?
That'll be pretty interesting. Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to talk to him about it. He's kind of the Jack Daniels guru. So
he does seem to like Jack Daniels a lot.
He has a good story to share. I can't wait to have him on the podcast, which is coming up soon. And anyways, so I think that'll conclude from Barrel to Brain. You ready to move over to Nerd Rage? I felt your rage right there.
That's a rage.
Yeah, the speakers. I hope we didn't blow out your speakers in your car.
Jamie got me freaking pumped up. I'm ready to go.
Because of LeBron James.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, so we wanted to talk a little bit about Whiskey Riot. So we went to the Whiskey Riot event in the fairgrounds, which is where basically the Cotton Bowl and all that stuff is. That was a phenomenal event. So we wanted to highlight, we met a ton of people. We got to see Nelly and that crew from Iron Root. We got to see Randall from Prideful Goat, which was great. He was dressed to the 9. We met great people from Milam Green to Starlight to
there's a lot of places.
Jay-Z Pepper, but that was a Global Spirits kind of distributor guy versus someone from J.C. Pepper.
Yeah, and
but
the St. George lady was the one who gave us a ticket for.
Yeah.
We gave it to Daniel. That was really cool.
and we got recognized. Some people were like, "Hey, are you guys the Bourbon Nerds?" We're like, "We are the Bourbon Nerds."
Yeah, we were in the line for Randall at Prideful Goat, and she was in front of. And man, I don't.
Was she in the? I think she was in line next to us for Clyde's Maze.
No, I was she. I could have swore she was in front of us for, but I think she was in a line for a couple of different things. But yeah, she definitely recognized. Just like, oh, you guys are the Bourbon Nerds, and that was super cool and very surreal.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we're not famous or anything, and we're a growing community, and we're very humble. Like we're small town folk from small town. But it was cool. It was kind of like, wow, someone recognized us. Like it's just, I don't know. It was just like
cool
a moment. For
sure.
sure. We've had a lot of those cool moments. We've got such a great community, and we got to, record an episode, which you'll see with a good friend of ours, and another friend came down and shared an exclusive bottle he got, which we have a video coming out on. So just we're beyond blessed, and just taking a moment for something like that to just kind of be like, man, it kind of like those little, it's like a snapshot in time. A good former boss of mine used to say things like that. Makes you like, it makes it worth it. Like you are doing something good, you are doing something that's being recognized, and I really appreciate, that person, and met a lot of cool people at that event. Have a really funny story. So out of all the whiskey we tried, which was a lot, not whiskey, Garrett, you poured something out. What was that you poured out at the event?
The Basil Hayden 10. I'm sorry. I do not like Basil Hayden. It's just not impressive at all to me.
Oh, man. It was so funny.
Dude, everybody was cracking up. I'm like, oh, that would be a good time to have your video rolling, which Damon was there with.
Yeah, Damon and Daniel are good friends. And
his thing is open season operator.
Yeah, open season operator.
Of course, he wasn't filming during that time.
Does a lot of hunting videos, but yeah, that was the perfect moment.
It was really funny. I watched his video that he posted for Whiskey Riot, and he said, oh, I love Basil Hayden. I'm like, oh, I feel bad that I talked crap on Basil Hayden.
Yeah. Whoops. And then we tried Basil Hayden. It's still mediocre.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, guys.
And if you guys want me to, we'll do a video of 10 things you can have that's better and cheaper than Basil Hayden. I have no problem doing that. It's pretty easy. So, and again, if you like Basil Hayden, no hate, no shade on you guys. Like, you like what you like. Don't like, oh, F these guys. They don't. I like this and they don't like it. It's not for us. I think it's mediocre at best. It's not bad. Well, I mean, Garrett poured it out. He didn't pour anything else out at that whole event. So,
I did, and that was the only thing I poured out.
And that
should say something.
And I don't want to.
And I even fought through the Von Payne.
Yeah, I was gonna say Von Payne was like a bad.
No, and it's just the Basil Hayden 10 was very. I don't know. It just was like almost watered down.
Yeah, really, I will say the Basil Hayden Toasted is not bad. Like I was like, it's okay. But again, there's like 30 other bottles I'd rather have. So
I mean, we have the Penelope Toasted. It's probably better.
Way better. 100%. It's not even a contest.
I also want to bring up in Nerd Rage the Blendery. I think that was a very fun event that we did.
Yeah, no, it did. We talked a little bit about it, in the previous episode. So Blendery was phenomenal. Highly recommend. Some other things at the Whiskey Riot. One thing that I was really impressed with outside of the great people, there was a couple of fun things that I wanted to talk about. One, people were dropping, so they gave you it was a glass, whiskey glass from
Hard
Truth, yeah. Which, well, spoiler alert, we'll have an episode with them coming up soon. But people were dropping their glass and shattering it, and then
people would go nuts. Yeah,
dude, the whole place would just go nuts, like screaming, like ah. So that was it's a lot of fun. Like you kind of were like, everyone was kind of figuring out what is going on, and finally I was like, oh, people are dropping their glass because I guess they were just, dude, people were giving away so much stuff, and like we didn't bring a bag. So it was like, I was just carrying like 30 different things, and luckily Garrett was prepared because apparently he goes a lot of cons and stuff.
Because I got a lot of cons and stuff. Yeah.
So I was like handing him stuff, and we got like a whole iron root, like gift sample thing that Nelly gave us, which is cool. We got
Not just Nelly. It was,
what was that girl's name? Melissa, maybe with the cowboy hat.
Yeah.
She gave us a stock. Is it Starka?
Yeah, Starka,
which I didn't even know they created that. But again, Iron Root's coming out with some great stuff, guys.
No, it was something from the old days. It was like one of their first releases.
It was her personal collection, and she gave it to us. So
so Iron Root, huge shout out to you guys. I'm very thankful for everything you guys have done for us.
Yeah, and they're coming. They just hinted towards, which he talked about in our podcast episode when we did the interview, the Mother of Whiskey. They're coming out with bottles. So
on Mother's Day. Yep.
Yeah. I'm really excited about that. I'm hoping I'm going to try to be there when it releases, depending on exactly the date it comes out. There's a lot happening in May. We're super swamped and booked up, and which is, I'm not trying to brag or anything. It's just, that's where we're trying to plan things in July
it's a good
now.
Thing, for sure.
Yeah. It's a great thing. We've got some amazing guests, and we'll talk about our next guest when we get to last call. But that event was phenomenal. Highly recommend it. Unfortunately, it was the same day as my favorite event, the Hunter Burton Memorial, which is
the same weekend.
Yeah, which is a magic tournament. Yeah, okay, where I'm nerding out for a second. But it's about suicide prevention, which is something that's near and dear to my heart. I know it's near and dear to Garrett's heart, and something that we want to support, and being an active supporter and raising money and anything that we can do to raise awareness around suicide prevention. So
while we were there, it was kind of interesting how they had the setup. It was a lot different than they have in past years. So that was kind of interesting for me.
It was. They had the vendors inside and people playing outside. So it was a little weird, but there's a ton of people there. Everybody was having fun. We stopped by before we went to Whiskey Riot and checked in on our friends, which none of our friends made day two. I was a little bummed I didn't get to plan it.
Pretty close, but yeah.
But I had such a good time at the Whiskey Riot event. And if you haven't ever been, I highly recommend. It was worth every penny. I would recommend doing the early VIP, which we would have done, but Garrett.
Okay, it's my fault.
It's
Garrett's fault. It's my fault. I'm sorry.
So, but anyways.
We have a year for the next one. So
yeah, for sure.
We'll make sure we get VIP for the next one. Yeah. And Damon kind of alluded to this in his video, is like, he got VIP, but I mean, still, like you still have a chance to kind of see everyone.
Yeah, you do, but it was kind of a rush. So we got in at 5, was it? 4?
I believe it was 4. I think
4 to 7.
Early, yeah,
it was 4 to 7, and it was like literally lasted. It felt like 2 seconds.
Yeah, there's definitely some exclusives for being. Getting in there early or whatever.
But it was cool. We got to hang out with Randall. Randall pulled out a little 15-year-old, and then Garrett fell in love with Prideful Goat 12. I think that was probably his favorite.
Prideful Goat 12 was so good, dude.
Yeah, and I don't know if I already mentioned it. I apologize if I did. The Clyde's Maze. I actually really like the Clyde's Maze mash bill. Their smells good. If you like apples, that they have a very apple-y, like apple cinnamon kind of mash bill.
My friend Hunter is a huge Clyde Maze fan, and I got him a pick from Empire Liquor for his birthday.
Yeah. So I want to try some more. We're going to eventually have to do a Clyde's Maze episode. Yeah. So
I mean, it's on our list for sure.
Yeah. Milam Green, that rye, they call it the Midnight Winter's Dram Killer.
Midnight Winter's Sham.
Oh, Midnight Winter's Sham. Yeah. So
he actually used to work for High West.
Yeah, he used to work for the guy we met from High West. We got his card. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but shout out to you. And we're hoping to set up an interview with Milam Green. They're coming out. They've won some awards. Great people. We met so many great people. Like, I don't even know, like, it happened so fast, and there was a lot of whiskey. There was a lot of fun. There was food. There was snacks, and just everybody was having a good time. There was no violence. There was no craziness. There was no like people talking smack. You see at sporting events and stuff. Yeah, besides people dropping their glasses, but that was fun. And even when they dropped it, they were like, it got me. But I really enjoyed that event. So highly recommend it. Hopefully we'll get to do more of those types of events. Hopefully eventually we'll have a booth at an event where we have merchandise and stuff. And
that'd be really great.
Do some collabs. Yeah, and, sure. I'm not going to share that yet because I want to talk to them more and confirm if we can get some stuff selected from a special distillery. So, But anyways, so yeah, Nerd Rage. Wanted to talk about that. Did you want to talk anything? I think you said you wanted to talk about something else in Nerd Rage. Anything else? Yeah.
I don't remember at this point.
Okay, that's fine. All right. Well, let's move over to Whiskey Sideline. How's your bracket doing, Garrett?
I think my bracket's doing pretty good. Did you do a bracket?
Yeah, I actually did a bracket literally with 3 minutes left to go.
So I'll say this is, we're about the range of the second round. So I have one bracket that's actually 92%, 93%. I'm sorry. I have one that's 88%. So
Yeah.
some of the, I don't know, some of the teams I picked Auburn, Georgia, and Duke in my three brackets. But
Who's your final team?
well, I have three brackets, so those are my three finals. So
I got Auburn, and I only did one, so I got Auburn as my final team.
So I did Auburn.
I think Auburn's very good.
Auburn in one. I did Florida in one, and I did Duke in one. And so I think those are the three teams that have the best opportunity to win.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, I like
I don't
Florida
know.
a lot.
Like I like BYU a lot. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they beat Wisconsin. That was a great game. They were smoking Wisconsin. Wisconsin.
I feel like they didn't deserve the 6 seed. I feel like they were better than a 6 seed. So
Yeah, I mean the seeding in that's a whole different debate.
it was really the funniest thing was who was it they said that didn't deserve to be in there? I know Kansas was going to get beat. Oh, North Carolina.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, North Carolina didn't deserve to be there. And then they won by like 30 and then they got their ass beat. And I'm like, yeah, they didn't deserve to be there after all.
Yeah, in St. John's. So I have a guy at work that's a huge, I guess he went to St. John's. He's a huge St. John's fan. He's like, they're going to the Final Four. They got beat.
And they got beat by Arkansas.
Yeah. Arkansas's
With John Calipari.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I think Arkansas is a sleeper. And I mean, they beat two coaches who are really good.
Some of the
Yeah,
greatest
some of
coaches
the best
ever.
coaches
I
ever,
agree.
yeah,
I mean, that's pretty good. So, I mean, brackets are brackets. You're going to have wins and losses. I did pick OU to beat UConn, which I knew that was probably a bad pick, but I wanted to see. I thought that it was a very close game.
I mean, UConn had won the last 2 years, so it's like you think that they could get the three. Sorry, you think they could get the three-peat, but then they lose. They beat OU and then lose. I don't know.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's been pretty exciting. I think it's living up to the hype of why March Madness is probably one of the greatest sporting events. To me, the World Cup, March Madness, and Super Bowl are like right up there as my top 3 favorite sporting events.
Someone on my Facebook was saying, "Hey, the NBA playoffs are better than the NCAA tournament." I go,
No.
"You're freaking stupid."
Sorry.
That's one of the stupidest things I've heard.
I'm out on NBA right now. As you know, I'm devastated.
Who's your favorite to win the NCAA tournament?
Well, I picked Auburn in my bracket, so I'm going to stick to them. I still think they have a great shot. I think they're a really good
Auburn's
team.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, Florida. I could see Florida too.
Yeah.
I know you had mentioned them. Those were
think
kind of the
Florida's
two
one of the
teams I was
best.
leaning towards. But
Florida's got probably the best. So here's one thing. So Florida has probably the best debatable overall team, and then Duke has like the best players.
yeah, but Duke always falls short. Like
Cooper Flag is so good though.
I agree, but they've had great teams with great players, and they've never been able to really kind of put the icing on the cake. So
That's the whole thing about NCAA March Madness, though, is it's like it depends on like how good, like who has the best player, who has the best team, and
yeah.
I don't know. It just kind of depends on what year it is.
Yeah, no, but again, this is living up. NCAA March Madness is phenomenal. We wanted to talk about it, so we're going to talk a little bit about hockey. I know that's right up your alley. Ovechkin, what's going on there?
Ovechkin is doing pretty good. I don't know what.
So
how close is he to Gretzky's record?
He has 888 goals. He's only 6 away from breaking the record.
That's insane.
That's nuts. He's got 12 games left though.
That's plenty of time.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's super. There's more than enough time, is what I'm trying to say.
You know, it's fun to talk about, but it's this at the same time, Ovechkin's won like one championship, and so it's kind of like the same kind of argument as LeBron James. You know, it's like, oh yeah, he's gonna break the points record, or he's gonna break this record, and At the same time, like MJ is still the GOAT of NBA. So Gretzky is still like the GOAT of NHL. But it is a really cool feat because it's a feat that nobody ever thought would ever be, would ever be passed, I guess.
Yeah. So let's go. Hold on. I want to go back to your bracket. What was your win percentage? Mine's 70.4%. Well,
93.
93?
Yep.
Holy smokes, dude.
No, I have one that, hang on. Let me pull
I have 380 points. You're smoking me when it comes to that.
93.2 and 88.4.
Dang, dude. You're
and 80.9. But all three of my brackets are at least over 80%.
That's solid. But again, like I've only watched a few games of college this year. I've kept track of it, like seeing who's the top teams, but I just haven't had our schedule's nuts, man. I'm out of the country half the time. So.
Yeah, it's not that I've been paying super close attention to.
No, but that's phenomenal, dude. You're doing some like the top brackets. That's insane. That's nuts.
I have some pretty good picks on here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's good. I'm proud of you. I'm giving you hats off. I'm giving you a compliment.
Oh, well, thank you.
Take it. I don't compliment you very often. So that's pretty cool. And then also too, something that I'm getting more excited about and trying to start learning more is about Formula One. So they just completed their, what was it? It's Chinese. Was it the Heineken? Was that where did that event take place?
I couldn't tell you. I know Jamie told you to pay closer attention to the one.
Yeah.
Formula One.
So, but the winner of that was Piastri. So I believe from New Zealand. So he won that race. So I've been a lot more excited about Formula One, starting to watch them a little bit more races. That one was at 2 a.m. So I didn't get it. I'll go back and obviously try to check that out. But I really want to get to a race. I've never been to one. I've got a lot of friends that are going to them. They're very expensive, but again, they're a great experience. So I wanted to just kind of call that out. If you want to hear us talk a little bit more about Formula One, obviously learn a little bit more and actually know what we're talking about, that would be, let us know, comment and stuff. I think it'd be pretty interesting. It's pretty cool stuff. Formula One's pretty awesome. I've starting to enjoy more and more. So I think it's something pretty cool. So I wanted to highlight that. I'm hoping to go to a race sooner than later. I know they have some in Austin and Vegas and Houston. And then Monaco would be like kind of the chef's kiss, I think, if you're going to go to a dream race. I think a friend of mine's going to Monaco to go watch a race, or already did. I forgot. I'd have to think. There's been so many friends have been talking about Formula One. So, all right. Well, let's move over to Pop Culture Pour. So
Pop Culture Pour.
Yeah. So Daredevil has come out, and I know I have not watched it yet, and I apologize. I had every intent to watch it before this episode. I know Garrett really wanted to talk about it, but I know you have been very impressed so far. Everyone that I have talked to, we have our small little community that we have, our nerd community.
Yep.
They've all been pretty positive about it so far.
So the first 3 episodes they're pretty good, but episode 4 is where it really kind of hits its stride. So, and I would argue that the dialogue between him and Frank Castle in episode 4 are some of the best in the MCU period. So, without getting too much into it, it really kind of sucks that you didn't watch it.
I know. I'm sorry. We'll talk about it on the next episode, but I'll have watched. It's been a busy week for me. Work and non-work related, family related stuff that's been going on, but I don't want to depress anyone or take you guys down that road. So, but I'll definitely watch it. I'm excited to watch it. Look, the previews look really good. I like Daredevil. I think
it's
Charlie
really good.
Cox is amazing. Yeah. I think what's his name? Always think the villain.
Oh, Vincent D'Onofrio is Kingpin.
Yeah,
no,
he's phenomenal.
He's great for sure.
To me, live action, he's on the Mount Rushmore villains.
And they're finally getting into the Muse part of it.
Yeah.
Muse is great.
Okay, I'm excited. Yeah, I can't wait to watch it. So we just want to highlight Garrett's enjoying it. We were really excited when that got released. I think the previews and everything look good, and we'll talk about it on the next episode and really dive in and give you our thoughts and what's happened so far. And spoiler alert, so we'll go watch it. Go see it. You've got some time, but this will come out, in a few weeks, I think. So, But check it out. You better have watched it by then, but we'll do our spoiler alert. So anytime we're going to spoil something, we'll make sure so you guys can skip through, and we don't want to ruin anything for you guys. We want to just provide you our thoughts and feedback, and go from there. So yeah, we were going to talk a little bit about the new Twister movie, which I haven't seen, and the old Twister movie, which is a cult classic. I absolutely love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies.
You know, when I went to Chicago, I was there for a documentary I was doing, and the mom she played the mom in the original Twister, but I don't know. It doesn't matter how many times I watch that movie. I freaking love it. It's so good. It's just a classic. I don't know. And the newer Twister movie is good. There's some parts of it where you can tell it's kind of fake. It's like, okay, we're going to make Twisters disappear. Like, okay, man, like that's not something that's legit, but I don't know. And one of the fun things about the old Twister movie, like cast wise, in the new Twister movie, there's a couple who are trying to check into a hotel, and the son of Bill Paxton is the guy who tries to check in the hotel and stuff. But that's really fun, and so it's really cool to kind of see that in the newer movies. But at the same time, it's like, all right, well, the old one's fun, and it tries to stay close to the realism, but.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like go back to the old original Twister, which I think is one of the most classic movies like you could ever watch, and
and it's just fun to watch. You know, it's just fun to look at.
Yeah, and think about like when it came out, 1996? Like it was ahead of its time.
97 for sure.
Yeah, it was 1996.
And the 90s CGI is kind of just ahead of its time because
100%.
You have the not even Lord of the Rings, but like the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yep.
It's just. Well, I guess that was early 2000s, but
the Matrix was 1999. So I mean, you're right in that.
I mean, but still, like the CGI from that time frame is so much better than the CGI from this time frame. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I don't understand, but
I think it's just more like they're trying to AI it all. Like AI is like we couldn't get AI to move ice out of a glass. We tried to do a logo for like 50,000 tries, and then it's pretty sad that Bill Paxton and Phil Seymour Hoffman, are obviously rest in peace. Both of them have passed away, but
the movie's still a classic.
Absolutely.
Twister's one of those movies where I can watch like anytime. It doesn't matter. I actually search it. There's a really good documentary on the it's one of the Alabama tornadoes I watched earlier. I can't remember exactly, but anyway, like I can watch those documentaries, but I'm still like, man, I kind of want to watch the old Twister movie with Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton.
So I wanted to give thoughts and prayers out to the ABV. Was it a whiskey barrel? So Steve runs that. So a good friend of mine out of Austin, good friends. He went to high school with him.
Oh yeah, but
they got hit by a tornado. Yeah, but they're back up and running, so doing really well. No one got hurt. So there were some definitely tornadoes. It was like a week ago or
but there hasn't been like an F5 tornado since like 2013. So which is kind of wild because there's been a couple decent tornadoes since then that should have probably been in that category.
Yeah, no, there's been, I mean, it seems to get worse and worse every year. And Durant, we're pretty lucky to kind of dodge, I guess, being in a little valley. But we do live in Tornado Alley, and it's something like, it's pretty terrifying. Like people are like, oh, it's tornadoes. Like they don't happen around me, but tornadoes have been happening more and more often. There was what town was wiped out last year? Was it Pawnee or Shawnee? Was it Shawnee that was wiped out? There was one in Oklahoma town. I can't remember.
A couple of years ago, it was I can't even think of. Shoot.
I don't know. I'm sorry. We didn't prepare for this. We were talking about the movie, and I wanted to go down to real life, but tornadoes are real. Something to definitely
Tushka.
Tushka.
It was a couple of years ago, though.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Days are running together. But you're right. It is a couple years ago, but they got wiped out. They had a great little small town.
It's pretty interesting because actually Oklahoma City is like top of the list for tornadoes, but I mean,
More gets hit.
More, and that's what I say is like, Oklahoma City itself doesn't get hit as much as like more. Actually, Atoka, Tushka, Caddo, those areas get hit. I mean, I feel like there's always tornado warnings for those areas. I know last year the one for it wasn't even Rock Creek, it was
Blue.
Yeah.
I think a lady got killed. That's about 6 miles from my house.
Yeah, and one of
my rent house.
The daughter of the lady that got killed was she used to work at Choctaw.
Oh, okay.
So
got it.
I mean, so this area in general just kind of sucks. And actually, I saw a statistic where Dallas, Texas was like 2 or 3 on the list of most hit cities with tornadoes. And, we're just in those categories, you know what I mean?
Excuse me.
Tornadoes that are.
It's kind of crazy and something you definitely be conscious of. And I hope that we're in that time of year. We're just hit spring officially, starting to warm up. When you get those cold and those warm front and cold fronts, that's when you get some really nasty weather here, and it's very scary. So I hope everyone stays safe. I hope that anyone's, whether it's a tree or a tornado direct hit or anything like that, I just hope everyone's safe this year. And we wanted to just kind of highlight a little bit about Twister. And do you like the new Twister movie? I think you act like it was pretty good for the most part.
It's pretty good. So I know the director tried to, I don't know. I say stay away, but they tried to not focus on as much of like the love element between the two main characters. But at the end, it still kind of feels weird when they don't have like the kiss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I still think they could have had that and it would have been fine. But at the same time, like, I don't know, how realistic is it for it to throw some powder into a tornado and make it just stop being a tornado? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not something that's like real. And so it's interesting to think about, and it would be really cool if that was a thing, but I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, but I've seen it. I think it's on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do plan to watch it. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of the first movie. It's one of my probably all time.
The early movie was more about getting information about twisters, which I think was great because, and you have
it was very realistic.
Food, but like, but it's more about like trying to learn about the velocity of the tornadoes and stuff.
And how they
whereas this one was trying to figure out how to stop them, which isn't really a thing.
Yeah, you're not stopping Mother Nature.
I get what they're trying to say. I get what they're trying to say, but it's harder to believe than the original. You know what I mean?
Got it.
So, and that's the thing with a lot of movies these days is like you're trying to
do something that's impossible.
Yeah, not as much as possible. But you're trying to do something different that might not make sense.
Yeah, so it's hard to understand and cultivate. Like Bitcoin, I could have been rich, but that's a different story. So,
yeah.
Cool.
Some things are different than others. So,
all right. You have anything else for Pop Culture Pour?
No.
All right. Good. Well, I'm gonna be real quick and neat and balanced. Yeah. So I'm gonna give you 5 things real quick, just to spring it forward into the summertime, getting you guys ready. So. I've noticed a lot of people, and this is my number one, set clear, realistic goals of what you're trying to do. I notice a lot of people just work out to work out. Some people want to get in shape. Some people are trying to lose weight, and some people are trying to build muscle, but you really need to be specific on what you're trying to accomplish. Are you trying to shed 20 pounds? Are you trying to, reduce your waist size? Are you trying to build muscle? Are you wanting to grow your biceps by a couple inches? I mean, I think it's really important to really understand what you're trying to do, because your workout is going to be dependent on your goals, your workout and diet, which are going to be, we'll come up here in a second. So figure out what exactly you want to do. Number 2 is workout routine. Whatever your goals are, that workout routine should be really built out from that. And I know as I get into the spring and summertime and it's not freezing cold outside, I know I add in a little bit more walking. Walking is so important. People think they got to go run 15 miles to get in shape and to add to kind of burn calories. And cardio is important, I think, in the summer, especially if you're trying to get leaner. But walking is a very powerful tool. You can, if you feel like walking, you've kind of outgrown that, whether you're walking 4 or 5 miles, you can get a weighted vest and walk with as well. But I think your workout routine is really important. I think doing a push-pull split, between a major muscle group or a couple muscle groups and legs, something like that, and adding in some additional cardio, whether you're walking. I typically I jog a little bit more in the spring, summertime, but again, I'm still doing a lot more walking, trying to get my steps, trying to get, 10,000, 15,000 steps in, even on your non-active days. Number 3 is be consistent. That is the most, I think, I have it number 3, but it's one of the most important things. A lot of people think they have to spend an hour and a half in the gym. Even if you can go get a 20, 30-minute workout, that is going to play dividends to you throughout the week, whether it's boosting muscle, getting your heart rate up, just getting that elevated blood flow throughout your body. So don't think you have to spend an hour and a half in the gym to have an effective workout. Some of my best workouts are when I have no time. I have to go pick up my daughter from school, and I go to the gym and I got 30 minutes. I go in there with a plan and a mission to hit my biceps and maybe a little bit of back. And I'll do just a little bit of cardio. I'll do a real fast 5, 10 minutes, get my heart rate up as much as I can. But, just being consistent, that is so hard to do when your life is when you got busy, you're traveling, all the different things that we got going on. We can make excuses 7 days from Sunday. But be consistent and make small steps. If 20 minutes in the gym, do 30 minutes and then slowly work it up from there. People think they have to go links, run miles. No, start small. Like start 20 minutes in the gym. If that's killing you, then that's fine. Then do 10 minutes, but work your way up and continue to push yourself to get more. Because if you're not adding weight, if you're not doing a little bit more, you're gonna eventually hit a plateau and stop getting your results. You're gonna say something?
I was just gonna say, I got so used to doing like 3 miles of a run.
Yeah.
And recently I went and I was like, I'm gonna push myself, and I went for 5.5 miles.
Ooh,
and the first 3 miles I was running pretty consistently, but after that I was power walking, whatever. As long as you're really kind of sticking to that, I still think that's an accomplishment.
100%. 5 miles is a lot. Yeah.
Even if the last 2 miles are a power walk, just finish. That's that's the whole point I'm trying to make is just finish what you're trying to do.
Yeah. And do more than what you've done and gotten used to. Cause like you said, you're running 3 miles and it's probably not that big of a feat for you. You're like, no, I ran my 3 miles. No big deal.
I get used to about 3 miles.
Yeah.
And so that extra 2 miles is, it's a little bit more than you're used to.
Yeah. And other couple things you can do, and I'm going off on a little bit from where I was going to go with this, but like doing some sprints, like you don't have to run 5 miles. Do some crazy suicide type sprints where you're going back and forth. You can do, if you have access to stairs, do some stairs, man. Stairs will tear your glutes up, man.
Yeah, they will.
It's such a good workout, going up and down the stairs, like, and doing it in a fast pace, man. It's a good hit, kind of almost like a hit workout. So there's a lot of different things you can do. Number 4 is balanced diet. And we've talked about this, lean protein in general. Every meal, and every meal doesn't have to be high protein, but you should make every meal with a purpose. And I think if you can do that more consistently, and there's nothing wrong with cheating. I know we've talked a little bit about that. Garrett and I differ a little bit. He's a little more lenient on some of that stuff. And I mean, guys, I don't eat perfect by any means.
I think a cheat meal is still fine.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that.
I'm not saying there's no room for, error.
I think where the problem is people have a cheat day. I think a cheat meal there's nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah. You should be able to enjoy that. But people usually overindulge it, and it turns into a day, or, oh my God, I'm going to do like 15 times more than what I should have eaten. And then they feel like crap, and it takes them 3 or 4 days to recover. So there's a lot of different things that associate that. But a balanced diet is going to be such an important thing. And we've talked a lot about that already. We've talked about meal prepping. Our friend was leaving here earlier. They came and shared a great, amazing bottle, which we'll have a video release on. And he was like, I'm going home to meal prep. So I actually need to go home and cook some cook some chicken as well. So, and make a few of my meals ready for this week. So
I usually do have meals ready for this week, but we're going to the river later this week. So it's really hard for me to be like, all right, I'm going to make meals for a couple of days. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
no. Yeah, it is. I want to have a couple lunches.
In general, I know what you mean.
Yeah. I'm just whipping up some chicken. Cause I'm getting,
for sure.
I've been so busy lately. I'm finding myself where I'm not eating enough. And so I'm waiting too late because I do fasting, and I'm mixing it up. And again, I've talked a little bit about Thomas De La Fleur, who's I'm very big fan of on YouTube. If you don't, you can check his stuff out.
I try to fast between like 11 and 6.
Yeah. So what I'm doing a little bit, which he talks about in some of his latest videos, is like kind of doing a normal fast, like the normal 16-8, or, you know, kind of going a little bit deeper than that, or 18 to 20 hours, and then not fasting as much the next day and kind of cycling off of that. I've been doing a little bit of that more, the more active I am, because I find fasting only, like, you should not be doing the same fast every single day. I don't think there's a lot of value in that. I think you need to throw in some 24-hour fast here and there. And you need to keep your body guessing. I think that's very important, because the more you do something, the more your body's getting used to it. Think about anytime you do any type of exercise and workout, you're doing the same weight. It becomes to a point it's just easy. Like, it's just, okay, I go in, do 10 by 10 reps. And I see people doing that all the time. I see people doing weight that they're like throwing up like it's nothing to them. I'm like, you're not getting anything out of that. So, but again, back to the balanced diet. Diet is so important to everything that you do. You could say diet's just as or more important than exercise. And then number 5, and I'm going to hit this so hard in the summer when it gets 115 degrees, stay hydrated. You need to be adding some electrolytes in your life, and you don't need to be doing the liquid IVs that have 30 grams of sugar. There's a ton of products out there. LMT, there's a new product I've been doing some research on called Waterboy. I'm going to test that out. I will give you my thoughts and feedback on that. It has 3 times the amount of electrolytes as liquid IVs, but those are one amazing product that I have tried, 2 that I've seen some research on that looks to be pretty good. So, but staying hydrated is critical. Everything, your cellular processes, your recovery, your muscle growth, all has to do with staying hydrated and making sure your body's getting the right nutrients delivered at the right time. So again, those are my top 5 spring forward into summer recommendations that I have. So that'll conclude Need and Balance. Let's move on to Last Call with the Bourbon Nerdz. So last call, I really want to close it out with, we've got some, and I think we dabbled in it a little bit, but we've got some exciting things happening. We're kind of concluding phase 1, getting podcasts up and running consistently. Phase 2 is getting videos and start video casting our podcast so you can see us. We want you guys to build a connection with us and get to know us better and recognize us and all those great things that we have. We're going to be really focused a lot more on doing video reviews. We're talking about doing a monthly live stream. I'd like to get that up in the next couple months, where we'll jump on, we'll do some reviews, some blinds. Hopefully you'll join us, and we'll have some fun. So we're trying to figure out a time that we can make that work, maybe a Friday evening or something, or Saturday evening or something like that. So, but we'll have more information on that. We have our, we just rebranded, which I love our logo. We're having it taken a look at by an artist that does some branding too as well. See if we can just tweak it a little bit more. And then we have merchandise, I promise you guys, coming out extremely soon. We've got some stickers we've been handing out. And once we get this final review of our logo, then we'll get some business cards and stuff like that. And you'll see our merchandise and all that kind of stuff. So hope, again, you guys support us. We really could use it. We've invested quite a bit already. Garrett is very lucky to be Choctaw. We've been working with the business community in Choctaw. Yeah. And if you're Indian in Choctaw, they do a phenomenal job. They have so many great programs.
There's a lot of benefits that help you in general.
Yeah. So. Absolutely. Honestly, this is going to kind of help speed up everything that we're trying to do, just for him getting that support. And they're amazing. What's the lady's name that we're working with?
Mindy Blake.
Mindy Blake. Yeah. I'm sorry, Mindy. I forgot your name for a second, but Mindy Blake's awesome. And she's been just a beacon of support and encouragement. So
Yeah,
she's awesome.
for sure. She's been like, hey, fill us out and come get a laptop. I'm like, I mean, yeah, for sure. I'm going to come get the laptop.
Yeah, we were using my laptop, which is like old and not good. So we've got a better laptop, which makes a big difference. So your stuff actually records when you need it to record and stuff like that. I know you're funny. It's like, well, you guys, I mean, Cody has a good job. We've invested a lot of money. Bourbon's expensive, guys. It really is. So, and we want to do more. Sure. We want to do more for you guys. As we get this stuff on, I mean, it all works us towards getting a Patreon, and we'll love to have your guys' support. And if you can't financially support us through sharing, liking, commenting, all the things that we need for you guys to do, for us to continue to do this. So we love doing it. We're excited. We're already in season 2. This is our 17th episode. That is nuts. Yeah. 17 episodes. Yeah. We just started a few months ago.
Well, and we have a long way to go.
Yeah, we have a long way to go. We have a lot lined up for you guys. So we've got a huge distillery lined up. We've got 4 or 5.
At this point, you guys should know that we have Still Austin lined up.
Yeah, we're excited about that.
Also, Greg Upchurch.
Yeah, Greg Upchurch is coming up on drummer of 3 Doors Down. So.
Yep. And Puddle of Mud.
Yeah. Yep. He has a coffee shop in Kingston.
Coffee shop, yeah.
Yeah, we got to actually try some of that coffee. It's actually really good.
It is very good.
I was like, I try, you guys know I travel. So I'm drinking coffee from Honduras and Colombia, some of the best coffee in the world. Very good. I got a latte. I want to get their Americano. I'm going to try everything that they have. I'm just going to drink some of their, get some of their, bean coffee.
Maybe that episode we just go and get some coffee from them.
Yeah, do a taste test. Yeah. And I'm going to gift him a bag of Welch's, which is my favorite coffee too, as well, when he comes on the podcast. But we're excited to have him. We've got a lot of great things going on. So again, I know he's like, well, I keep saying that, but I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Excited to continue what we're doing here. Kind of excited to expand and excited to continue to meet the wonderful people in the bourbon community. I mean, it's amazing how many good people. I mean, Jamie's giving us bottles, gifted us bottles. Just Theron coming down from Dallas
to we ever ask for.
No,
it's just something that they just kind of do on their own.
Just such a nice people, man. Blowing my mind. Sharing, caring, reaching out. Hey, you guys need this bottle? It's just amazing, man. This community is so awesome. It's a blessing to my heart, man. It really is. I don't even know how to describe it.
Community,
yeah, just phenomenal people. So, all right. Well, we're gonna close this out. So I'm Cody.
I'm Garrett,
and we are the Bourbon Nerdz. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Catch you on the flip side.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
The Bourbon Nerdz podcast is hosted and executive produced by Cody Mills and Garrett Welch. The show is produced, mixed, and edited by me, Ethan Adams. The show features original music by Alex Pitts. You can find the Bourbon Nerdz on all the major social media platforms. Please follow, rate, and review the show on Apple Podcasts or your podcast player of choice. It really does help the show. Please don't hesitate to send an email or message on social media. We love to hear your thoughts, comments, and bourbon suggestions. The Bourbon Nerdz would like to remind the audience to always drink responsibly, know your limits, and never drink and drive. Be sure to check in every Sunday for a brand new episode. Cheers!